War Eagle Auburn family, back to an edition of E2C Network Live, where we sit down, we get together, and we talk about what's going on in the world of the Auburn family spectrum. We're always heavy on the sports here on this channel, but if it's orange and blue, it is what we do. Thank you for joining us, whether you're watching live or on the replay. We appreciate you being with us, hanging out with us here to talk about something that's related to Auburn. This live stream, it is a post-game reaction live stream. The Auburn men's basketball team are your Cancun Challenge for 2022 champions by the skin of their teeth, taking down the Northwestern Wildcats by the score of 43-42. It was heart-stopping. It was heart-wrenching. It was confusing. It was confounding at times. The Tigers pull off the win in what would probably be either easily described as a very poor shooting night for both teams or a great defensive night, however you choose to put that out there tonight and believe on it. We're going to be talking about your comment, questions, and any other things that you want to talk about tonight on the stream. That is what is on tap for you. Let me cover some stuff at the very start of the show here. Yes, we are on the road. As you can tell, it's not my normal setup, backdrop, all that kind of stuff. And in a different location, different Wi-Fi setup. So let me know if the stream ever gets bad, if the audio sounds okay, all that kind of stuff. Go throughout the stream, keep me updated if you can, because you are the lifeblood of this particular channel, and we want to make sure that we keep this as good as possible. We're doing the best we can. But right now, let's use this as our normal check-in period. Post where you're watching from, city, state, international, wherever you're watching, on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Right now as well, smash that like button. Let's all do it together. Smash it. The retweet button, the share button, however you choose to view the show. Use that button to share it out and part of the show tonight. So I will be looking down a little bit tonight because my setup's a little bit different. As I said, I've got stats down in front of me, questions in front of me, cameras up here. So we're going to try to bounce between all of those things tonight. Let's see who's already here saying hello. We got Rise Life, Leighton, Unbeaten Lake, Devin's here. Who else is here? And it's going to be a little bit slow, guys. Comments because it's so slow. Thomas, Joe, Rob's here. He says terrible win, evoking the great Charles Barkley. Yeah, I think that can be said for a lot of different people tonight. Blake checking in from Facebook. Thanks for being here, buddy. And Devin doing her job, keeping us updated on the post-game memes. I have the feeling that there's going to be less concentration on the memes tonight, simply because nobody was expecting this type of game. Can we just stop for 2 seconds and I'll get to some of your comments and questions and just talk about the dichotomy of these two games in the Cancun Challenge? You literally have one of the best shooting nights, probably the best shooting night of Auburn's season, very young season thus far, was last night against Bradley. And Bradley was missing 3 of their starters. We talked about that all last night. But you come to this game against Northwestern, against probably a technically more formidable opponent, and it's like this knockdown, drag-out, slobberknocker of a slugfest in basketball. The score that you're looking at is not unheard of in the first half for some games, 43-42. That'd be a really high first half, but it's doable. This is your total score for the game, folks. Let that sink in. I'll be very transparent with you all. I'm at a family event right now, and I was gracious enough to be allowed to go away to do this. So I'm watching the game kind of off to the side, trying to actually still be engaged in the family event. So I am not as into the comment in this game. I'm watching this whole thing. I did get to watch the last 5 minutes, those stressful last 5 minutes complete. But yeah. Arkansas fans are trash talking. Well, don't be surprised at that. It's Arkansas fans. I cannot wait till we get to that part of the season, Rise Life. It is going to get raucous around here on this channel. The Arkansas fans, especially basketball-wise, are just crazy. And so I think they're going to bring something to the table that's going to be pretty interesting to follow, especially as they seem to be. So this is one of the areas that I was not able to keep up with. So Devin says that the officiating was awful. Let's be real. The second half was a little better. It's hard for me, but what I will say, not being able to actually listen to the audio of the game or the broadcast of the game is where I'm at situation, just watching the actual visuals of it, it did feel like the pace of play was just very slowed down at times. And then you would look down and it's like, are we still only 30 seconds difference? So that a lot of sense to me. We talk a lot about refs not needing to affect the flow of the game, obviously the outcome of the game. If there's fouls happening, obviously, call them, but don't be so ready to blow your whistle. I can't speak to that as much just because I was a little removed from all this. Did it cause anyone stress, thus using their screens? I listened to Andy and the tone of the voice and the calls. It sounded like they were bad. Well, I love this man because I've had the opportunity to meet him and interview him, Sonny Smith. And he's not on the call tonight. I guess he wouldn't be down in Cancun. But I was going to say, if he was part of the call, he would have been lighting them up. He's probably, if he wasn't there, he's lighting them up from it's just broad law on Andy down there. But yeah, I mean, there comes a time where it becomes so obvious that you have to kind of start saying something even as a trying to be an unbiased journalist. And let's be honest, our play callers for every school are not unbiased. That's just the nature of things. The refs forced Auburn to relax in the second half and not be so aggressive. Yeah, again, I'm not going to be a good source on the referees because of my situation here. Let's see here. Let me back up and see what else you guys are saying, and then we'll kind of start stats. This will probably be on the I won't say the shorter side tonight, but probably shorter a little bit show. But I want to make sure that we get some of these things. 28% shooting. Yeah. I do have the stats way down here in front of me. I did want to get down there and start talking about that because at one point I saw that Northwestern was 0 for 15 from 3-point land. That sink in. Didn't they make their second 3-pointer with 2 minutes left? Go figure. What would be interesting to note, wish we had a Northwestern fan here to talk about it. Have they been that bad shooting from the arc? Or is this just an off night? Because if it was an off night, thank goodness it was. Interesting. Looking at shooting percentage overall, ending on the game here. I actually have 26% shooting for them. For us. For them was 25%. 3-point percentage was 23%. Theirs was 8.3%. They had a much better free throw percentage. Ours was 66. Theirs was 75. Honestly, you guys hear me talk a lot about free throws and stress on this. That's probably the reason that Northwestern's in this game. All right. So I bounced around a lot. We will hit on some more of those things in just a second here. How does everyone feel about this game? Do you walk away from this game feeling like Auburn met a good opponent? Do you walk away from this game and that Auburn underperformed? And look, yeah, I know the stats kind of indicate that, but what do you think? Your impression of Northwestern, because we talked a lot about yesterday of who was the opponent going to be, Northwestern or Liberty. I told you that my head told me Liberty, but my gut told me that it was going to be Northwestern, and I should have listened to my gut. This is a Big Ten team. Big Ten basketball teams, they come from a very tough conference. So you know that they're going to be conditioned to having basketball competition. Not saying Northwestern is there or that point this season, but what would you guys think about that team overall? Were they formidable? Did you think that they just had a great night? All thought. Let's hope this is our worst game of the season. Overall, the entire game was sloppy for both teams, but a win is a win. This is really one of those nights where you say a win is a win is a win is a win. I see a lot of people talking about Jalen Williams and Janai Broome. I did see and tune in enough to see some of those Jalen Williams moments. All I got to tell you is you're still shocked that Jalen Williams is as clutch as he is. You hadn't been paying attention. Jalen Williams is going to be, in many ways, the heart and soul of this team. He's not going to get a lot of the eyeballs directed his way. That's going to be Wendell, Janai, Katie. But Jalen Williams is going to do what a veteran does, show up in the ways that you need someone to show up. to get you over some of these nights where you're not shooting as well, where you're not as crisp. Jalen Williams you just call it Jalen Williams doing Jalen Williams things. All right, let's see here. Brian checking in. Your people from the Northwest or the Midwest are giving us trouble tonight, Brian. The Northwest made it really tough. Yes, I agree. Happy Thanksgiving to all. Thanks for checking in. Great to get a dub. Win tourney, but extremely tough to watch. So I think it's kind of like I asked the question. Should you consider this a team that's better than expected, or did Auburn just underplay? You really can't make a definitive decision one way or the other on that because we're so early in the season. Auburn's now 6-0. They'll be 5-1. And they're going to have that'll be a really good loss on their resume, provided Auburn continues to do well the rest of the season on a neutral site. I don't know where that kind of falls in the, not KenPom, but the quad wins and losses rankings. They'll probably have a good look from the situation if they find themselves in a position to be at the end of the year. Devin says Northwestern seemed pretty good. Feel like it was a combination of both. We underperformed, but I thought it would be a close game. I didn't know what to think, to be honest with you. Blake says a lot to learn from this game. Find some offense, control yourself on defense when the refs are calling it tight. I did see that a lot. So one thing I noticed early on in the game, even though I wasn't able to listen into, I know Allen got into some foul trouble pretty early. It was like 10 minutes into the game. He had 3 fouls already. KD seemed very emotional tonight at times. I saw Coach having to pull some guys aside. I think frustration really set in tonight. And think about what these guys have done in 24 hours. You went from having an absolutely outstanding, we called it a complete game, the most complete game of the year, rolling in every facet pretty much of the game, very few hiccups, to this. Imagine frustrated is not even just over 24 hours later. I look from their perspective. Let's skip ahead a little bit. Was that Flanagan with the game winner? I honestly can't remember. That's how disconnected I was from the broadcast being at this family event. Looking at the game cast, Northwestern had just hit a streak, I guess is what you're saying. They had turned us over with steals and blocks. At least we're good at drawing fouls. Yeah, we got to make the free throws, though. I do not like where we continue we have to break, I believe, on the season 80% free throw mark. That will lose you games. Again, I said Northwestern kept themselves in this basketball game simply because they were able to make their free throws. And there's more to it, obviously, but that's a huge component that people miss a ton. Make your free throws. They're free for a reason. Big Ten basketball. Let's see. Oh, it's not coming up. There we go. Big Ten basketball play. Big Ten plays basketball like they play football. Plotting, low scoring, and boring. I have a lot of respect for Big Ten basketball. They are year in and year out some of the better teams. I think, lately we look a lot to the Big 12 and the ACC, but the Big Ten is very strong most years. So it may be boring, but they say a win is a win. Not tonight, but on most cases. Jackson said Northwestern was a bad team. But can you say that this early, right? Based off this game, maybe, yeah. But they're 5-0 start off the year and look at their schedule. And frankly, we didn't play the strongest schedule yet either. This probably was one of the more tougher, at least maybe talent-wise, opponents, just kind of by the nature of thinking it's a power, I know it's football, but a bigger conference, usually more talent comes their way, a prominent basketball conference. You could expect them to have a pretty good basketball pedigree. Thank you for clarifying that. Flanagan on the game winner. So do we need to keep saying it? Alan Flanagan is back. He's been back, folks. Love to see your big guys, right? Your guys that have been here for a while. We talked about Jalen a little bit. Alan Flanagan getting the game winner. It's going to be a huge confidence boost, that man. Because think about this. This man went from being the most relevant, one of the most relevant parts of this program team to having an injury, kind of being fallen back and overshadowed by two giants, literally, and trying to fight back through an injury. Moments like that are going to fuel him going forward. Got to have veteran leadership. Blake, I think it was even you that brought it up the last broadcast, how impressed you were with veterans. There you go. The meme game is picking up 240 in 15 minutes. I like where that's heading. I don't know that we broke 400 yet this season, Devin. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if this is the night we do it. Northwestern has amazing defense that unneeded for no reason or have great grammar. I'm kidding. I agree, Brian. Looking at both game scores, there must have been team activities with the venue that added to fatigue from back-to-back games. Hard for me to really have a comment on that, like I said, just because I wasn't able to. I do know that they went and the teams, I saw Auburn's teams, they went and did things in between, but I would imagine very little other preparing for the game was done today, maybe a small relaxation period. But yeah, I mean, playing back-to-back games is tough any day when you're playing basketball games. But in the best case scenario in the SEC tournament, you'll be playing 3 in a row if you go to the championship, if you get the double bye and go to the championship. So this is just kind of a get used to it game. The big guy, he was pretty big, wasn't he? What was his name for Northwestern? Reminded me of Walker Kessler, just without 3-point shooting, blocking, rebounds. So basically every facet of the game. Is this the lowest we've scored since he who must not be named? I don't know. That's a good question. That's a Clint Richardson question. If you haven't tagged him on social media, go and do it now. He will get that information for you. If the SIDs and sports information people for Auburn haven't already put that out there or said anything about that. That'd be a good thing to know. Because it's such a weird, low-scoring game. Let's see here. They clarifying exactly how it ended again. I saw it from someone's phone behind them, so it was kind of hard for me to get a gauge except for it actually going in. Bahamas is greater than Cancun. So this is my interpretation. I'm not saying this is true. The Cancun Challenge, as I've said in like a previous video and previous live streams, this is not one of those premier typically tournaments, early season tournaments, but it's much bigger than the Alaska Shootout if that happens. Believe it or not, I was up there one time for that. It's well known, but it's not like we said, the Maui Invitational, the Bahamas, the Battle for Atlantis is what it's called. They were doing an Orlando Invitational. They got canceled during COVID, which was going to be amazing. I'm so sad that thing got canceled. Yeah, so not the biggest best. Are you asking if the Bahamas is better in terms of location? I would assume the Bahamas is better because it's actually like islands out in the ocean, and I'm a beach person. But if you're asking in terms of tournaments, I don't know. The refs called it to keep it competitive, although false perception, because Auburn is a much better team than the score indicated. Well, we've seen them do better, Russell. I would agree that they're better than the score indicates, but we've become, especially the Bruce Pearl era, even with some poor shooting sometimes the last couple of seasons, we've become so used to high-scoring games. If you watch a lot of basketball, you'll see them end up in like the 60s, which is not that high scoring. So it's kind of a luxury that we've had. We watch so many games being played at Neville Arena where we have an incredible atmosphere and environment. We shoot really well there. We just play really well there overall. We're used to higher scoring games. I'm not making excuses and saying that this should be the norm. It shouldn't be. But low scoring games happen more than I think we're aware of. Officiating was bad in the Bahamas too. It just seems like there's something about being out of the country and bad officiating. Well, we always say the SEC officials are pretty bad, so we just can't for lose. All right. Let me go back through some stats and stuff. Continue to bring up some storylines that you guys would like to talk about throughout this. We'll spend a few more minutes here. We're about 20 minutes in. Let's see here. Again, final score 43-42. Alan Flanagan hitting that last second shot. Clutch, Mr. Clutch. So Johnson leads us in scoring tonight. Has he led us this season at all? I know Wendell has. I know Janai has. I know Chris Moore was and Jalen has. Has Katie Johnson led us in scoring this year so far? Somebody figure that out for me real quick. Why are the points way over here? I hate it when like you have to go searching all the way over here on a stat sheet for the points. 12 for him tonight. 11 for Jalen Williams. I mean, you're not going to have very much score going on all night. Let's see who didn't score. Trey Donaldson, Trey Orr, Chance Westry, Chris Moore. Yeah, just a interesting night with not a lot of scoring opportunities for many people. Again, these are these situations where you look at Katie Johnson and you know what you get with him. He's a psycho. He gets a little bit over emotional at times, but boy, are you glad he's on our side because he is a weapon when he is on fire. What is that on me? You always get these something's going on you, but it's not. This was Big Ten basketball, and we won. Agreed. It felt like team who must not be named basketball. Talking about team we're about to play in football. On one-bound passes, we had everyone locked up. It had been about 6 seconds, and the refs let them call timeout, so you're not going to reward a great defense. That's going to point away. I can't recall that one, so I can't really fight you on that one, but not that I'm wanting to fight you on that. Didn't matter in the end. This team is going to be insanely phenomenal defense-wise in about a month. Shooting hopefully will come around later in the season because our crazy athletic guys are going to get their non-shooting points. To me, it's more important for us to get better at the free throw line than it is to get the three-point shot going down. You know, we know how aggressive and athletic our guys and how they like to take it to the hole that they're going to get fouled. Take those opportunities, pad your lead, or help that chip away at a lead that you might have given up. And that's going to give you the opportunity for those moments when you do knock down those distance shots to be a little bit more effective and a little bit more monumental and maybe like dry or momentum killers for the other team, whether they're in the lead or not. So that would be something I would focus on more. But everybody else is not going to question what he wants to do, but that's just kind of looking at it. Brian, I will take this question, even though it's not basketball related, very briefly. So as I've always tell you guys, if you're not subscribed, you need to be, because we have a regular schedule of stuff. We're getting into basketball season. You pretty much know we're going to have a post stream after every basketball game, Wednesday night shows, and we've got a few more football regularly scheduled shows throughout the year. We know that there's some big news probably coming. Right now I feel pretty comfortable telling you that it will happen. The question is when. That was as of a few hours ago, but yeah, so I would just say stand by. I am preparing to be ready at a moment's notice, or if I'm not on the road traveling, come any interesting news. Yeah, absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. All right, let's kind of come back to some basketball stuff. Just, I would reiterate, be ready for anything. My hope is I don't have to go live tomorrow. It is Thanksgiving after all. You just can't tell these days, especially when you've got some interesting things going on for Auburn. All right. There's really not a lot to talk about on the stat sheets for these guys in terms of individuals. I mean, you had two guys break double figures tonight. We played all 11 guys and got some minutes in here. Did Babatunde get to play? He did not get to play, but 11 guys did get in there and were able to play. Let's see. We already talked about field goal percentages. Rebounds tonight. Auburn wins 44-36. Huge in a game like this. When you have games that are going to be this close, this minute in what can make the difference, having the better free throw percentage, better rebounding, turnover margin are going to be huge. Those are the three that I always look for situations like this. We win the rebound battle tonight. Am I okay? I thought that was a little bit worse than I thought it was. I thought we like dominated them on offensive rebounds, but we win in every category there. There were 5 ties, 6 lead changes. Pretty much, it felt like all at the end of each half. Let's see. Largest lead for each team was 9 and 6. Auburn and then them. We shared the ball better than they did tonight, but not as well as we've done. I think it was 20 assists last night, so maybe another area we could have improved tonight. And turnovers, 14 for Auburn, 8. So let's talk about that for a second, and I'll take some more of your comments and questions. You look at these games like this, and I'm going to harp on these 3 things again: free throws, rebounds, turnovers. Free throws, we did not as well as we should have. Rebounds, we won, but turnovers, we lost in. You lost 2 of those 3 main categories I talk about, and you still won. So that probably proves that you're the best team in my book, how I look at things. I know it's not a complete science. But usually if you lose in 2 out of those 3 categories, you're not going to be having a great game, which is what pretty much happened tonight. This team gelling. I think they're gelling in many ways we're not seeing right now, but this is the very beginning of the season. Shot section needs to be better. Probably so. What a rock fight. I haven't heard something described like that quite some time. Oh, the memes are slowing down. Slowing down. And we do have someone saying, Michael said the refs were bad for both teams, which it honestly makes me, obviously I get more mad when it affects Auburn, but I hate having refs affect the pace of play, the flow of the game, and the outcome of the game. Now, if it helps Auburn, sure. That's just me being petty and having my orange and blue glasses on. But honestly, I want a clean game. The ref really had little effect on the outcome, even if that means a loss, because it just feels better. There's less to complain about. It's more on us, right? I did not get a chance to enjoy the announcing. No, not indicating one way. Unless I haven't been told anything different about the coaching decision. I know that there are rumors and stuff flying out there right now, folks. Just at this point, just wait till someone official announces it. Like it's silly season is what it is. That's all I'm going to say about the fall situation right now. Okay. What else? Let's see if there's anything else we want to talk about tonight. No nickel foul. Wow, that's in a game like this where there's a lot of frustration that might happen. All right. What else do you guys want to discuss tonight in terms of the basketball team? We're going to wrap it up here in just a minute, but I will take any final comments and questions about basketball. Let me remind you of what to expect going forward. There are no plans for a live stream tomorrow. However, I will say you never know, so stay tuned. The plan is to have a Iron Bowl preview show on Friday. I do not know what time yet. I would like to shoot for an 8 o'clock time. However, there may be other events that dictate us doing that as well. Read into that what you that may happen. I'm not guaranteeing or saying that's going to happen. But that's what you can expect going forward, and obviously a post-game live stream after the Iron Bowl too. So that's what you can look forward to here. No, this is a different undisclosed location, and I can guarantee you if someone comes in this room, I will see it, and it will throw me off. I am in a different undisclosed location, not your thing. Did I hear Andy's call? I did not. Like I don't know if you were here earlier. I'm at a family event, got away to do this show, was watching the game, but not able to listen audio or video or radio wise. Oh, I will go listen to that. So thank you for letting me know about that. Winning ugly is still winning. I agree, especially this early in the season. I'm fine with a little ugly winning. Adversity builds character, all those cheesy sayings, but they're true, right? You want to face a little bit of this adversity, kind of figure each other out, what we could do better, what we did wrong. A win is a win is a win. All right. Okay, guys. I think that's going to do it for tonight. Thank y'all so much. Hope the stream was a good enough quality tonight. I know the Wi-Fi is not as great in this location, but we're at 30 minutes. That's a good enough stream for this. Your Auburn Tigers are Cancun Challenge champions. Not super surprising, but got a little scary there, a little hairy with a 43-42 win. I appreciate you guys hanging here with me tonight. Stay tuned to the channel because you never know when we'll be going live again, although the next planned one will be Friday sometime for a Iron Bowl live stream. But we'll see what happens. Thank y'all for being here. Smash that like button on the way out, and I appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. Until we talk to you again, War Eagle.